Hello, everyone. Welcome to our bonus day for the Herbally-Inspired Spring Kitchen Challenge. My name is Allison, and I have been your host throughout the week for this super fun kitchen challenge where we've been going into our kitchens and looking in our cupboards and thinking about. Oh, hold on one second. Kitchen challenge where we've been going. I'm echoing. Our kitchens and there we go. All right, we've been going into our kitchens and we've been finding the herbs that we already have. We've been looking in our yard to see what kind of weeds are growing out there that we might be able to harvest. And we've also created a shopping list for the herbs that we might be able to pick up in the produce section of our grocery store and bring those into our daily cooking and tea making and so on. So thanks so much for being with me throughout the week. Today's going to be a short session. Excuse me. I don't have like a formal presentation for you today, and I also didn't have a card ready, so I thought, well, you know what? I'll pull a card just for today. And I don't know if you're the type of person that likes to work with these different types of oracle cards or not. Some people think they're freaky, but I just think they're a way to just get in touch with our intuitive part of ourselves that we so often forget to pay attention to. And so I grabbed this other deck called the Green Witch Oracle deck, and it's just about different, it's kind of like a kitchen herb deck, but the card that came up I thought was just so perfect because it's why we're all here. You're all here because you want to attain another level of healing in your life. And sure enough, that is a card that came up here. Let's see if you can see it. Okay. So it's actually geranium is the flower that was on here. And the word is healing. I'm just going to read you from the book what it says in here. It says, geraniums indicate you need to take time out to care for yourself and connect more fully with your higher and your inner self. I don't think this is necessarily a card for today. I think this is a card for every day. We always need to take time out for ourselves. We always need to collect more with our intuitive wisdom, both our sort of mental wisdom, but more so even our heart wisdom and our body wisdom, because our body gives us messages. This is what symptoms are. Our body gives us messages. And if we don't pay attention to them and try to go back up a little bit and start to pay attention to how and when certain symptoms flare up, when you start doing that, you're going to start to see about how the different influences in your life are affecting your level of health, affecting your chronic conditions, and so on. So it also says cooperation with others and creativity in groups are also needed. So to me, that's perfect because I would love to have you join me in the Herbal Kitchen Bundle. So that's going to be open. It starts Wednesday, and I'm offering a special fast action bonus, which is a one-on-one with me if you join by, I think it's by tonight. So make a decision and join the bundle. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later on in this session. But I thought that that was just a beautiful card to pull for this very last date that we have together. And I like that it says healing, and because we're constantly healing. I've said this several times this week, I think. We're constantly changing, getting maybe off a little, and then the healing itself is recognizing when we're not where we should be with our health and bringing ourselves back on track. Not beating ourselves up because I ate that sugary thing and, I deserve this. And, you deserve to be in a high state of health. That is true. That is how your body is meant to function. And as I've said a couple times this week, so often it's our mental, self-deprecating thoughts that get more in the way of us feeling healthy and feeling good than any actual, dysfunction of the chemistry of our body. So next time you have a symptom flare up, pay attention to what's been going on in your thoughts, in your emotions, and try to back that up. A lot of times, what will happen is when we get to a point where we've got something going on all the time, one of the things I like to do the most when I work with clients is to have them do a timeline and back up to the point in their life. Can you kind of go back? Just like, let's just go in. Can you go back to a point in your life when this first started to flare up, when you first were sort of diagnosed with something, and what was going on, or when did you first notice things? So that's another important key to working with improving our health and improving with healing. So healing is constant, but we want to have our herbal allies with us so that we can immediately make a correction when we start to feel off. And that is the beautiful thing about having an herbal pantry in your home with all different kinds of supportive herbs that you can use. If you want that, I'm going to encourage you once again to join the Herbal Kitchen Bundle, which is that group of courses that I talked about yesterday and the day before. And if you're not sure, you can just email me. Everyone's getting emails from me. You can just reply to those emails and ask me questions about it. Or you can contact me via Facebook Messenger if that is your preferred form of communication. Now, at the very least, as we're coming to the end of our time together, I would, oops, that's not it. This is the one I wanted. I would love if you're not already in the Cultivated Life community. This is where I keep all of the courses, of this is where we have conversations. This is a place where you can come in and start to ask your questions outside of one of these challenges. I do a monthly herbal roundtable on the first Wednesday of the month. And that's where we pick either a topic or a plant, or maybe a group of plants that we've done a couple of single plants. And then at the beginning of March, we did herbal bitters and talked about those. And that was actually requested by someone in the community that wanted to know more. So this is a way that you can just kind of work together and study together and learn together and help each other in this community. Now, you might ask, Allison, why don't you just do that in the Facebook group? And the reason why I don't, even though I do have the group, there's like over 800 people in the group, but it's mostly because I just don't appreciate a lot of the privacy or the prying into our privacy that Facebook does. And so I decided last fall that it was time, or actually I think it was longer ago than that, but I really opened it up last fall, that I wanted to have a community that was off of social media. We never know what's going to happen. We don't have control over our sites and our accounts and things like that on social media. So I created this community so that you would have a place to come in and ask questions, befriend other people, maybe find some people that are living close to you that you could even get together with in person. So I think there's around, I don't know, 120 people in there at this point, and it's free to join. I have paid things. This is where you would access the Herbal Kitchen Bundle through this website here. That's where I post all the replays and things like that. And so at the very least, I'd love for you to join the community. Just go to cultivatedlife.community. I don't remember if you have to put the www in front of it or not. If it doesn't work, add the www. And you'll have to make an account go in and it'll ask you a question about why you want to be part of an herbal community. And then I will, I think I have to approve you to come in, but I'm usually paying attention, so it shouldn't take too long to get approved. So please join me there. And again, if you are thinking about doing the herbal kitchen bundle of courses so that you can create your own herbal apothecary, learning how to identify and harvest and process and create all kinds of herbal products in because it's weedy wellness plus the herbal concoctions, then please go to herbally-inspired.com and get the details for that. These fast action bonus ends tonight, and that's a free one-on-one or an included one-on-one session with me, where it's usually at least 2 hours that we spend together. And that in and of itself is close to the value of the course. So if you have any questions, you just email me, just reply to any of the emails you might have gotten, or thewellcultivatedlife@gmail.com is where you can contact me. So today we have 2 things to do. And that is, first of all, and I'm saving the prizes till last because I want you to stay on for the whole time. Let's see here. Let me hide this thing. So I just wanted to share a few of my favorite books that I like to use whenever I am either working on creating one of these herbal programs, I'm looking for a remedy of any sort for either an acute situation or some sort of chronic situation where I am looking to create an herbal ally, and thought I would just go through a few of the books with you today. Now, within the program, of course, you get all kinds of resource lists and all kinds of additional supporting documents that go along with that, but I'll just go through a few of them today. So, of course, no herbal library would be complete without at least one book by Rosemary Gladstar, who is the, I say the grandmother of modern herbalism. I don't know if she calls herself that, but it really is true. And I don't have one of her. She's got a bunch of books. I obtained this set of little books. I'm missing one of them, but I'm missing 2 of them. I'm realizing. I'm looking at the back here where it says what's in the series. They were out of print for a long time, but they're back in print now from Story Publications. And I love these because she has a whole book on each one. And notice the one I put on the front, Reducing Stress and Anxiety. We can all use some help with that. There's Herbs for Natural Beauty that I've used a lot of her recipes from there. And my youngest is about to turn 18, so I'm not using the children's health book very much anymore. And then another one, Herbal Remedies for Men's Health. And you don't see a lot of books for men's health. There's also one for herbal first aid and also for longevity and well-being. So this is more for helping people. Should probably find that one because I'm getting to that point in my life, my older years. And then my number one book that I always go to, it's actually a set of 2 books, is by Matthew Wood. And it's partly because I love Matthew Wood's style of writing. He is an incredible researcher, and he can put together, he's just very, he's a great, he gets the resources, he brings together all people's things, and he creates sort of a profile of each of the plants. So there's 2 different kinds of books, right? There's the book of plants, and that's a materia medica. That's what those are called. And this one he's got, it was so much, he divided it into 2. So old world plants, which is this one here, and new world plants. So if the plants originated in Europe, India, Asia, in that area, there's not a whole lot of African plants in here, but he put them in there. And then any that are native to the Western Hemisphere is in this book here. So then there's a lot of the Native American herbs that are used are in here. And then I'm not sure if he is Ojibwe, but he is from, I think, Minnesota. And so he has learned from a lot of the elders and medicine people there in the tribes that live in that area. So that's what I always go to, and that's for specific plants. For 2 years, I did a show on YouTube called Flower Power, and each week I would talk about a specific plant, its uses, its lore, its flower essence if it had one, and I would usually use a card. Those are still up on my YouTube channel. If you're interested in watching those, they're available. And they are a resource for me that I go back to when I'm doing other research. But I would always kind of start here in this. So the Earthwise Herbal. He has a couple other books. He has a lot of books, actually. And then the second book that I really like is this one here. The thing I like about that set of books from Matthew Wood is that it's got like everything, just about everything. Most other books have a select number of herbs based on sort of the theme of the book, right? So Alchemy of Herbs is by Rosalie de la Forêt, and she is an herbalist that's affiliated with learningherbs.com, which is a great site for information. And her book is very kitchen oriented. And what she does is she is organizing in here by the 5 different tastes and how those different tastes, which is kind of comes from more Chinese medicine, how those tastes indicate what the active ingredients are in a particular herb. And what I like about this book is that like here's lavender, for example, and she talks about the medicinal properties and the energetics. And then she also does some history of it. And then she always gives you some kind of recipes in there that you can use. This one happens to have some cosmetic recipes because it's lavender and it's so awesome. And then a lavender and orange custard. So it's nice. You can immediately take the information and create something for yourself. So that's Alchemy of Herbs is that one. Now, if you're the type of person that really wants to grow a lot of your own herbs, harvest them, process them, and instead of buying your own, this is what I like to do. This is an awesome book by Deb Sewell, it's very oriented towards growing, harvesting, and processing. How to dry things, how to make what's the best type of product for each of these herbs. And she has this beautiful garden in Maine, and Avena Botanicals is the name of her company, and she sells the products and that sort of thing as well. But this has that kind of information. If you really want to get in depth to like all the things that a particular plant does, it's more, again, the whole process, which I love, which is basically what we're learning through the Weedy Wellness course, is the whole process of starting and harvesting and processing and making the different products. So this is a good book for that. And I actually took an online course with her. Was it in 2020? Gosh, it might have been 2021. Anyway, it was amazing. She's the most beautiful soul. I love her so much. Just very gentle, very earth-centered, and very loving kind of person. And then my current favorite, as you can see with all my little bookmarks in it, is Energetic Herbalism by Kat Mayer. It's kind of an advanced book, but what I was talking about earlier this week with the hot and cold and the tissue states and things like that, she's really good at explaining it. And she brings in a lot of the Ayurvedic principles into her book. She doesn't have it's not a real extensive materia medica. She intentionally decided to choose only 25 plants for this book because she felt like, and it makes sense, she felt like, well, if you can't do what you need to do with a variety of 25 plants, these extra ones, maybe you don't really need them. But she gave herself the challenge to do that. But the other parts of the book where she's talking about working with plants and her experiences and her connection to nature and things like that. And she's a really good writer. So I really like that one as well. And so those are the main really kind of basic books. I mean, I have a bunch of other books, but those are the ones that I go to the most. Should probably get myself some affiliate links for these people, right? Because I'm constantly recommending them. But then because we talked so much this week about wild harvesting, I wanted to share some other types of books with you as well. Now, this book here, and I don't know if there's a more modern version of it, but I think came out in the 80s. It's called Identifying and Harvesting Edible and Medicinal Plants in Wild and Not So Wild Places. So what it does, and if you can see right here, we've got dandelion on the front, on the bottom, right above that, looks like that's marshmallow there. And the tall yellow one is mullein. And this one over here is coltsfoot. So these are all medicinal types of plants that you can find out in the wild. Now, it has a lot of information about them, and it's seasonal. It tells you what's ready in what season. It's all black and white drawings like that. So that shows you that it's a little bit older, but this is it also shows some things that are edible as well as roots. It has tons of information in it. And I believe it's for the entire, he's from New York, so I don't know if it's Northeast oriented or not. Another plant that I love, and I believe that they have another book that I love, a book about plants that I love, is this one here. Now, this is Eastern and Central U.S. and probably includes Canada as well as they go farther north. Medicinal Plants and Herbs, Peterson's Field Guide. So I'm guessing because they have one for Eastern and Central, they probably have a Western one as well. And this is your typical field guide to identifying plants. So they're going to have a few pictures for each one. They're going to organize it sort of by plant families, color of blossom color, things like that. So if you're really into the botany aspect of things and you want to get out and try to identify, you can get a book like this. And sadly, both of the people who wrote this book have passed away. So we're really, really lucky. I just want you to feel and understand how fortunate we are to be in this time when it comes to learning about herbs, because I was watching an interview with herbalist Michael Tierra, and he has, forgetting the name of his site, Planetary Herbs or something like that. And he's a clinical herbalist, and he does herbal education programs and so on. And he was interviewing Rosemary Gladstone, and they were reminiscing about back in the day when in the early 70s when there were no books at all. Like there was nothing available for someone who wanted to be an herbalist except for, actually I should have gotten that out. The old herbals. And then this is oh my gosh, there's a card in here. Oh, it's missing that. Back to Eden. And this is from sort of an Appalachian people living out on the land, and also from the early 1900s when you would go to like a sanatorium to get treatment for different things. This is a classic book. I don't even know if it's even in print anymore, but I'll go to that if I want some sort of first aid. But anyway, how lucky we are to have just an incredible number of books to choose from. I mean, I'm not even telling you hardly any of the books that we now have out. There's another book also called The Healing Garden that came out from a woman in North Carolina. And I mean, there's all kinds of great stuff happening. So there's no shortage of books. Then one of my very favorites, as I talked about earlier, is this one here, Stalking the Healthful Herbs by Ewell Gibbons. He is such a great writer, and he always has his little funny anecdotes and everything, and it's very fun to read about. And he originally, of course, wrote Stalking the Wild Asparagus, and that was about edible plants. And he was from Pennsylvania, and so he's kind of Northeast oriented. But this book here includes a lot of the herbs that you might go out and harvest in spring. Like I quoted about the ground ivy, whenever was that, yesterday? The days are all running together. That I got a quote from him here. And, he I talked about him a little bit yesterday, but that's a great book as well if you're interested in some wild harvesting. And then the other type of book you can get, this is I live in New Hampshire, but I'm right on the Maine border. And so I have some local plant wild harvesting books for myself as well. I have another one by Russ Cohen, which I couldn't find. It's one of those books, you know, I ever have the things that like they seem to always disappear. But anyway, so this is another one, Wild Plants of Maine, a useful guide. And so this is a local person for my region that's written a book. So those are just a few things that you can get your hands on. Now, if I was going to say, get one book, you have no herbal books whatsoever, and you really want to get started with herbs and you don't know what to do, I would suggest getting the Rosemary Gladstar. I forget what the name of it, but it's like her basic herb book, you know, herbs, because she's really great at recipes and she'll give you a lot of recipes, how to combine things, and loves to work with a lot of teas. So if you have nothing at all, look for something by Rosemary Gladstar. That would be my recommendation. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. This is just a short session today. And so I know I should probably upgrade my style, but I have the names of all the people who commented. And thank you so much for sharing your takeaways and your food for thought that we did this week. It really makes a difference in the community. And as I said earlier in the program, I really want to encourage everyone to move here instead of Facebook, because I really don't like to put a lot of my content onto Facebook, because you may have heard they have copyrights to whatever you put on there. So some people commented here. Another person sent me an email. Someone commented on the post in this community. People were on Facebook. There's stuff on YouTube. I mean, need to consolidate my spaces so that I can more easily find you all. I hope I didn't miss anybody. So what I've decided to do is to give away a tea kit. And well, I'm probably going to give away just kind of a healing kit. So it'll be some teas and some salves. We did a workshop when did we do the workshop? It was like a month ago, Healing Herbal Salves workshop. And what happens is when you make herbal oils, you always end up with like 10 times more than you actually need for yourself. So I have a lot of extra salves, and I'm going to give you a few teas and throw in a salve or two. So let's see who has won this, and I will contact you and get your address so I can send things out to you. All right. Our first winner is, Linda. Can you see that? Linda Coley. Congratulations, Linda. And we're already in contact, so I will get your address and ship you out a kit. Let's see who else is going to win a kit. Besides, I have a few teas left that need to be consumed before the plants start growing again. So let's see. And the second winner is Nikki. You can't really see that, can you? Well, anyway, it's Nikki Allen. Welcome. Nikki just joined the community the other day. And so congratulations. You are going to get another tea kit. So it's always sad for me at the end of these shows, because I so enjoy sharing this knowledge with you. I would love for you all to join me in the go to herbally-inspired.com and check out the herbal kitchen bundle that is starting this week. This Wednesday, we're just going to get together and decide our best night for everything. And again, I'll spare you the going through the whole thing. Just go to this. This gives you all the details, so that's easier to do. So go to herbally-inspired.com. And so this Wednesday we'll get together. We'll figure out our best schedule for everyone. And then we will plan out our sessions from there forward. And it's I'm very excited because I know that so many of you come in, and I have a lot of faithful followers, and I so appreciate that. I appreciate everything you do. I appreciate you sharing. It takes a lot to share your personal health issues sort of in public with people. That is a hard it's it's hard, but it's also so important. It's really important to be part of a community where you can get support. And that, I think, if you saw yesterday's session, when Elena came on, she said that was the huge piece of going through the course last year, was that we had this group and we had this community of people, and we were sharing with each other. And what's so nice about doing the live class is that people come on and they have questions, and then you didn't even realize you had that same question. That's the beautiful thing about living in community. If you go and buy a pre-recorded course where you're just set to, or it's all on you to go through and learn everything, and then you have a question, and then what do? You don't understand something. So that's why we do everything live. We have a like a chat feed inside the Cultivated Life community, and you can get all your questions answered in there. So check out herbally-inspired.com to get more information. Email me if you have any questions, or message me. Thank you again, everyone, for joining me here for the Herbally-Inspired Spring Kitchen Challenge. I hope you get in the kitchen, you get out into your yard, harvest some weeds, and take those steps to improve your health this spring. Take care, everyone. Oh, I almost forgot. Tomorrow night, I'll be doing a spring equinox live stream on YouTube. So make sure to join me there. I'll send out an email if you are on my email list. Most of you are. And I'll see you then. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.